Well, it's time to move the baby quail from the brooder box to the grow out pen, so that's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Hey guys, welcome back to another slightly rednecked video. Again, my name is Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. And what I've got here beside me is my brooder box here with about, I don't know, it's probably 55 birds. I'm not sure exactly how many are in there. I got to count them again. Close to 60 little baby quail here that are about 2 weeks old. And it's starting to get pretty crowded and pretty dirty in the brooder here. It's getting to a point now where it's got to be cleaned out every single day. These guys are fully feathered out, so they've been off heat for a couple of days in the house, and now they're ready to go ahead and move out to the grow out pens. Now this is a rather small grow out pen actually. It's just a temporary grow out pen for them. They're going to be fine in here for probably the next maybe 2 weeks, and then it's going to start getting crowded in there and I'll have to move them to another pen, which I'm actually working on building right now. It's not done, so otherwise they just go straight into that one. But anyway, let me talk a few things about, I've kind of addressed this in videos before, but if you're new to the channel you may not have seen it. When is it time to move your baby quail from the brooder box to the grow out pens? Well, it kind of depends on a few things. During the summertime, like right now, it's 90 degrees during the day and it's in the mid 70s at night. So these guys are, let me get away from this tree so it's not blocking me, there we go. These guys are fine to go ahead and go right outside to the grow out pens at about 2 weeks old whenever they fully feather out. They usually start feathering out somewhere around 10 days. They're usually fully feathered out by 2 weeks. I start weaning the heat off of them at just a little over 2 weeks old. As soon as I start seeing that they look like they're fully feathered out, start taking the heat off of them, remove the heat from them, give them about 2 days to acclimate to no heat lamp, and then they go right out to the brooder, or right out to the grow out pens. That's during the summer. Again, highs in the 90s during the day, lows in the 70s at night, down to, it very seldom gets down below 70 degrees at night. Now in the winter time, I do give them just a little bit longer. I'll keep them on the heat lamp. Again, I'll wean them off the heat lamp at about 2 weeks when they're fully feathered out, but I'll keep them in the house until they're about 3 weeks old. And then they're usually good to go ahead and go right out to the grow out pens. If it's super cold outside, like below zero, then I might acclimate them to that a little bit. I'll move them to the garage, which is unheated. It doesn't get below freezing, but it does get a lot colder than in the house. So leave them out there for a couple of days, let them acclimate to that, and then out to the grow out pens. But usually between 2 to 3 weeks, at the most 3 weeks, they're ready to go outside. They can handle pretty much any kind of temperature at that point and they're fine. Now I did have to make a few modifications to my grow out pen for the because it wasn't really planning on being a grow out pen, it's more of a breeder pen. So let me bring you in close and I'll show you kind of what I did to modify this to make it work for a grow out pen, at least temporarily. Alright, so we're looking inside the pen itself, and you can see I've just got my kind of standard feeder right back here. That's going to work just fine for the babies. They'll be able to figure that out. They'll just crawl inside there probably and eat food from inside, but that's going to be just fine for them. And I've got my standard water cups over here. Now the problem I had with these is they sit way too high for the baby quail to be able to get to. They're nowhere near that tall. So I just put a couple of boards in here. This is like a 2x12. Or a 2x6 I think it is actually, and then a 2x4 sitting on top of that, and that gives them room to, they can hop up on this one, and get to the water cups. Now as far as actually training them to use the water cups, all you do, just fill this up with water, just push the plunger until it fills up with water. If you're not familiar with these, they don't hold water all the time. The birds peck at the little yellow plunger inside and it lets out just a little bit of water. They drink that water and drink as much as they want and then they're done. But they'll figure out how to use this pretty quick. If you just fill it up with water, I haven't given them any water today, so when I put them in here, they'll go right to that, they'll start drinking, and they'll figure out that whenever they hit that plunger, it lets water out. So it's not a big issue there. I just needed to build something to give them access to get up to it. These are going to get pretty messy. They're going to, droppings all over them, and I'll have to clean them off pretty regularly. But again, it's just a temporary thing. It's not like that permanently. And that's really the only modification I needed to make. The other side of the hutch here is just the closed-in part. Nothing special about that. I do have a sandbox in there. There's no sand in it, it's just a box right now. Give them something solid to get off the wire if they want to. But other than that, it's just a standard pen. That's the only modification I made, really. Alright, so now comes the tricky part. It's getting the birds out of the brooder, into the grow out pen without any of them flying away. They're not going to fly away, but getting out. So it's just a little bit tricky to do, but I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then we'll just take a look at what the birds look like inside the new pen here. right, come on, guys. There you go. Oh, there went one. Max, leave it. Leave it, leave it. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Good boy. All right. Luckily I have a dog that doesn't eat birds. He just kind of catches them for me, so he's fine. There you go. All right, got them moved in there. It was a little bit tricky. Had a couple of them get out, but caught them all. The dog helped me catch one. He, like I said, luckily I have a dog that doesn't eat quail. He just kind of catches them for me, and I think that one's going to be just fine. It's no problem. So anyway, I ended up with about 56 birds in this little bitty hutch right here. You can probably hear them, noisy as can be. They're checking out their new surrounding. They're already up drinking some water. I'm going to bring you in a little bit close. Hopefully you'll be able to see them. Let's see if I can get this cage open without them flying out. All right, so there you go. You see the baby quail in there. They've already found the feeder, and of course they're crawling right inside the feeder eating the feed. They've already found the water. They're up there drinking the water, doing just fine. These guys are going to be just fine out here, no problems whatsoever. I better get this closed up before any more of them fly out. All right, so this is going to be so much easier than cleaning a brooder every day with the wire bottom on the cage. Everything falls through. These guys are going to be much happier, much cleaner. They've got just a little bit more room to kind of wander around a little bit, not have to be in their own filth, you know, until I get it cleaned out every day. So all in all, it's a much better solution. They'll stay in here for a couple of weeks till they get a little bit bigger, or until I get the new grow out pen built, and then I'll move them into there. So anyway, that's about it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, God bless.